The repository, GitHub repository for the demo, has instructions on how to get started using a GitHub Codespace to work with the demo project, and I'm going to walk through that here in this video. So here is the page again for the repository, and you're going to look for this green code button over here, and you're going to click it. And by default, it'll be on the local tab, but you want to click on the Codespaces tab. And if you don't have any Codespaces, then you can click on this green button here, and it's going to open in a new tab a Codespace. Now, a Codespace is basically Visual Studio Code running in the browser. The live coding demos, our videos for this demo, are done using Visual Studio Code, but to get up and running really fast, you can use a GitHub Codespace. And you can use these for free for up to 60 hours per month. And I'll talk more about that at the end of the video. But for now, let's go ahead and see what we need to do to get started with this. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make my font a little bigger. And I'm going to press Control, comma, I believe it will be Command, comma on Mac OS. And I'm going to search in the settings for font size. Now the default font size is 14. I'm going to bump this up to 20 for the editor, and then also I'm going to go down here to the terminal and bump that up to 20 as well, so it's a little easier to see on the video. Alright, next what I'm going to do is I'm going to install a couple of extensions. To do this, I'm going to go over here to the extensions icon on the sidebar. I'm going to click it. And the first one I'm going to look for is the Python extension. Now, this comes up in the popular extensions because it is the most popular one with 136 million downloads. But if it doesn't come up for some reason, you can just search for Python. You want the one from Microsoft. You just click the green install button and it'll install. While that's installing, we can look for another one. We're going to be creating a SQLite database. So I want to have something that we can look inside of the database. This one, for Codespaces, I like to use this one, the SQLite Viewer by Florian Klampfer. And I'll click the green install button there as well. And then if you clear the results, you'll be able to go back and see that you have inside of your Codespace that you have these extensions installed. Okay, so let's close this and let's get the. So that has to do with dealing with the codes, creating the Codespace, and then also setting up the extensions. Now I'm going to go down to the terminal. In the repository, there's this requirements.txt file that lists the the packages that are required. You could read more about those in the README, but to install those, I'm going to use pip install -r. This means we're going to use a requirements file instead of installing each one individually, and I'll just provide it the name of the file, requirements.txt. And you're going to see that in the case of the Codespace, everything's already satisfied. They're already installed. But if you're doing this on Visual Studio Code locally, or if you created the Codespace a different way, you would see that the packages and their dependencies would be installed. Then, in order to initialize the database with some investments, I have created this script file here, and the way that we would use it is to say dot and then the commands.sh file. And now if I click on Portfolio DB that was created and close that, and you'll see here that indeed the transactions and you'll see here that indeed the investments were created. Also, I can go through and I can run some of the commands. So for example, I could run the list portfolio command. I do want to allow pasting from the clipboard. I could run the list portfolio command and I can see a list of all of the investments. If I add the summarize, option, then it will show me a summary, some summary statistics. I could also buy a coin. I can sell a coin, and then I can look up the value of a particular coin in a particular currency. Now, like I said, you can use these for free for up to 60 hours a month, and you don't have to have a credit card. You don't have to. All you have to have is a GitHub account. Just for showing up, they will let you do this. Now, the thing is, you want to save that time as much as possible. So by default, a code space will time out after 30 minutes. So that means once you stop using it, it waits 30 minutes, and then it puts the code space in kind of a sleep state, where it'll save the state of all of your UI and everything. However, during that 30 minutes while it's waiting to decide whether or not you're going to come back, it is eating away from your quota. So there are two ways that you can combat this. The first one is to click down here in the lower left corner, and I'll bring up this menu here, and you can say stop current code space. And after a few seconds here, this will show a message showing that the code space has been stopped and give you the option to restart it. Now, I actually sped that up through the magic of video. That took about 60 seconds total, and you don't have to babysit it. You could, as soon as you click the stop code space option, you can close the browser tab. Now, the other way is, if you don't want to do this, you can also set the timeout duration. So to do that, you would go over to the upper right corner with your avatar in it, click on it, and go down to Settings. You're going to go over here to Codespaces, and then scroll down to Default Idle Timeout. Now, like I said, the default is 30 minutes. You can set this anywhere between 5 and 240 minutes, which would be 4 hours. I find 5 minutes to be kind of limiting, so I have it set to 10. You just put the new value in there, you click Save, and you're done. And then that way, if you forget to close it, to explicitly stop the code space, it'll only eat up 10 minutes of your free quota instead of the 30 minutes. Like I said, it's free to use for up to 60 hours a month, and I really recommend you check it out.